Good morning, class. Avery Bell here with the final video discussion on lessons learned, not from just the past few modules, but for the class overall. Again, we're proposed the same three questions that we have for each of these lessons learned discussions, and I think it's nice to take the time to reflect on everything that we've learned and how we can actually apply it in our professional and personal lives. So the first one, how do I plan to implement the course learnings in my professional or personal life? Um, I think I've come to find that all the lessons that I've learned throughout the course are mostly going to affect my professional life. Um, I think the biggest thing that I took from this course is the importance of ethical culture and how that affects each individual and the organization overall. So I think the biggest thing that I'm going to take from as far as this goes is setting the ethical tone for subordinates, peers, and supervisors. I think it's always important to understand that as leaders that we can lead down, across, or up. The most obvious one is you're in a supervisory position over somebody else, and you influence them that way. But it doesn't mean that you can't influence your peers and or your supervisors based on your actions. So I think if you commit yourself to setting the ethical tone, to adhering to the standards, promoting these standards, and when necessary, enforcing the standards on a 100% across the board basis, um, with with no lapses in that. I think it sets a tone for everybody else, and likely it has a positive effect on the overall ethical culture of the organization, and hopefully it influences everybody else to do the same. The second one, how will I be able to improve my organization as a result of the new information that I learned? I think the biggest thing that I took from this is I thought I knew what ethics was. I thought I knew what strong ethical policies were for an organization prior to taking this class. I think I had a real surface level understanding of what that was. Now, I think my understanding is a lot more in depth. I think that now especially, I know what I'm looking for. I know if I'm reading an organization's ethical policies, likely I can pick holes in it. I can understand that, like, hey, they're not really going far enough with this, or they're simply putting this out there for appearance reasons, especially if I kind of know how the individuals in the organization act. So I think now I'm able to look at my own organization's ethical policies and procedures, and I think I'm able to consistently evaluate them, and if need be, offer my observations to my supervisors in hopes of improving the ethical structure of the organization as a whole. The last one, how could I implement ethics training in my organization, and how would I measure its effectiveness? This one is a little tougher based off the organization that I work in. Um, not only as military members do we fall under the UCMJ, but on the civilian side, we operate under additional policies and procedures that must be adhered to. I think I'll just speak mostly on the military side of things, because it's what I'm most familiar with, and I'm sure those of you that have served understand what additional duties are. For those of you that are not aware, when you're in the military, whatever your primary AFSE or MOS or whatever your branch calls it, your job is not that's not just your job. You don't just go to work every day and do that job. There's jobs under that job and jobs under those jobs. There's plenty of additional things that you're required to do outside of your primary duties. So one idea that I kind of had was that I could propose a new position of an additional duty. In my case, within the squadron level. Again, I don't know how it works in the other branches, but and the title of this could be the Ethics NCO. Essentially, they're in charge of overseeing all ethical training within the squadron itself. So ethics aren't really trained on specifically. They talk about the UCMJ. You get certain training on it when you go to various PME, Airman Leadership School, NCO Academy, Senior NCO Academy, that type of thing. But this NCO would be in charge of conducting biannual training on ethics, not only in the military but just on a personal basis. And I think additionally they would act as the point of contact for all ethical concerns within the squadron or even on an individual basis. I think especially in light of recent events, they could potentially handle the initial claims made by a whistleblower. Obviously, the IG within the military handles a lot of stuff like that, but these could be on a more personal level. And they could be the point of contact for any ethical concerns that individuals may have that would eventually continue on up to higher levels. I think I've definitely seen that some, especially younger individuals, have issues going to much higher ups. They might feel more comfortable with somebody kind of a middleman to facilitate any complaints they may have. And then I think they could be the person that could handle any improvements to the ethical culture, policies, procedures, any ideas that individuals have. They can go to the Ethics NCO to hopefully to propose those ideas, get feedback on them, and then the Ethics NCO can push that higher up if need be. That's all I have. I just want to thank everybody for their feedback and their ideas. This course, I really enjoyed it, and best of luck to y'all. Thanks.